Hi guys, welcome back. This is Detroit again, coming to you from the Garrison here in Rochelle Park, New Jersey. I'm enjoying a cup of coffee that my wife just made for me. Today is G.I. Joe's turn. G.I. Joe is the Commander-in-Chief of the Japanese Imperial Army and Navies. What is G.I. Joe going to do? He's got some tough choices to make, in particular in Southeast Asia, where he has a small UK Royal Air Force contingent of aircraft and also some infantry there. Or is he maybe going for Yunnan? He needs to take out Yunnan so that he could disable the infamous Burma Road that is supplying the Chinese nationalists with equipment. Okay, so he's got a choice to make, and he has very limited resources as far as ground units is concerned. He also has to deal with that damaged British battleship. Okay, that is has oil leaking. Okay, and is there. It's still a threat, but he has to take it out. So he definitely is. He's got to make some tough choices up ahead in this turn. So my
All right, guys,
friends,
let's go ahead and see what the moves were that G.I. Joe made with the Pacific. But before I do so, let me just point out something. During my last video, I actually forgot to mention, and it was something that No Limit brought up to my attention, that I forgot to mention anything with the USSR, with the Russians in the Far East. He asked me, how about the Russians, war correspondent Detroit? So, from the Asian Siberian front, my friend, there is no news. The only news is that the Soviets consolidated in northern Mongolia, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce the name of the northeasternmost province of Mongolia, but all I can tell you is that there's a total of 20 infantry, 4 light cavalry or light armor, and 2 AAAs in that particular Mongolian province. So yes, the Soviets are consolidating their power in Siberia. So let's go ahead and now review the battles, which are very interesting. There's quite a few number of battles that G.I. Joe has declared all over the Asian South, in China and the Southeast Asian area of the continent. So let's start first with the South Pacific. In the South Pacific, you have a single Japanese fighter that was deployed from the Carrier Task Force in Sea Zone 33, attacking the Australian naval transport off off Dutch New Guinea in Sea Zone 45. You have 2 submarines coming from Sea Zone 33 as well, okay, attacking the injured British battleship. You also have quite an array of Japanese aircraft attacking it. I believe that's a total of 3 tacticals and 2 fighters attacking that single battleship. G.I. Joe definitely wants to take out that battleship badly. Okay, so an interesting battle. It was a tough choice for G.I. Joe to make here, but the Japanese are attacking French IndoChina. That means then that G.I. Joe is reneging on his NO, national objective of 10 IPCs, which he will lose now. Okay, and that is, he's going in there with a total of 3 fighters, 2 tacticals, 1 bomber coming in, paratrooping or landing 2 paratroopers, for a grand total of 3 infantry divisions and 1 artillery division coming into French Indochina. All right, the British have 2 fighters, a tactical, 1 infantry division, and 1 AAA. All right, so let's go further west. In Shan State, you have 2 infantry divisions, Japanese, moving in, as well as 2 fighters and 1 tactical attacking, defending our 3 British infantry divisions. In India, you have 2 strategic bombers attacking Calcutta, attacking the Indian industrial complex. All right, so of course, I must mention that there's a AAA there too, and there's a AAA as well in French Indochina. Okay, let's move up further north now. Okay, in Kwangtung, you have an amphibious landing going on. You have 1 infantry and 1 artillery division attacking, supported by 1 tactical and a fighter. Further up north, another attack. You have in Kiangsi, you have 1 single artillery. Is that correct? Okay, that's one single artillery supported by two fighters and a tactical. All right, sounds like a mistake maybe that I made, but I have you only one artillery going in there. Uh, if it is a mistake on my end, I'll correct it in the next phase of this episode. All right, so now, Kui Chao, you have one infantry coming from Anhui. Okay, you have another artillery and infantry moving into Hope. All right, and in Sui Yuan, you have one infantry coming in from Chahar. Okay, and these are the battles, folks, that that are being fought by or declared by G.I. Joe. Very interesting. Okay, I know it was a tough turn for G.I. Joe. He had a lot of tough choices, decisions to make. I do wish him good luck. G.I. Joe is a very conscientious player, and he is very thoughtful and very careful, okay, about what his moves are. By the way, this is an error. This guy should not be here. That single Japanese fighter in the coast of in the territory of Okinawa. So that's a mistake. Disregard that. All right, guys. We're gonna go then and resolve combat as soon as I finish viewing the combat sequence of the turn. I will be back with the results of the battles. All right, guys. We G.I. Joe just resolved combat. Let me just point out before I point out or go over or recap the battles that he just did. Let me just point out the purchases that G.I. Joe made with the Japanese Empire. Okay, so G.I. Joe bought one tech, four infantry divisions were recruited, one minor industrial complex, and two naval transports. Those were his purchases. All right, so let's recap his battles. Dutch New Guinea. The Anzac naval transport sunk to the bottom of the sea. The battleship, the damaged British battleship of Hainan, Sea Zone 36, was sunk, but not before it took out a Japanese sub. All right, so French Indochina. Yeah, the British definitely put up a fight here. However, let me take out this AAA. It doesn't belong there. The Japanese did sustain casualties, but they ultimately did take out French Indochina, as well as the two fighters and one tactical bomber that the British had in French Indochina. This was the sacrificial lamb that Corporal 24 made for the Allied cause. So that was to be expected. All right. So the AAA in the territory did engage, but it did not shoot down any incoming Japanese aircraft. All right. A small interesting battle in Shan State. Okay, right here, you had three British infantry defending a Japanese infantry attack of 2 or 3 infantry, if I recall correctly, plus 2 fighters and 1 tactical. Well, guess what? The Japanese ended up losing its entire ground attack forces plus 1 fighter. So kudos to the British here. Even though they did lose their entire defending force, they did keep the territory of Shan State. So that is still British. Okay. Now, the 2 bombers attacking Calcutta, okay, the AAA engaged, no effect at all whatsoever. 10 points of damage on the industrial complex in Calcutta. All right, let's go to Kwangtung. Okay, the Japanese performed their amphibious landing, effectively taking out the single infantry British division, defending. Same thing in Kiangsi. The single infantry division defending was also knocked out in both battles. The Japanese did not sustain any casualties. Okay, walk-ins. Kui Chao was a walk-in. Hopi was a walk-in, and so was Sui Yu Yan. All right, so these territories were just walk-ins, which were victories, automatic victories for the Japanese. All right, so let's do an income. Actually, before we do the income tracker, let's make certain that all the non-combat moves are made. All right, so G.I. Joe has completed his non-combat moves. Basically, he solidified his power by placing his entire Air Force in Kwangsi. What he has here is a total of 9 fighters, 7 tacticals, okay, and 3 bombers. That's 3 bombers, 7 tacticals. I don't know if you guys can see them there, okay, and 9 fighters, okay. He has also landed one tactical and one fighter in the one of the carriers that he has in off the coast of Hainan. Okay, forget the sea zone, and it's sea zone 36. Okay, he also has brought down his battleship cruiser and the naval transport. Okay, in sea zone 20 off the coast of Formosa. Okay, he's brought down his infantry, his army in Siberia, Amur actually, to Manchuria. Okay, and he's moved in one infantry into Buyant Uha. Okay, all right. So basically, that's the general ground conditions and sea conditions for the Japanese. He also, by the way, moved his two cruise destroyers that were originally in Sea Zone 33 off the coast of the Caroline Islands into Sea Zone 18. So, his placement of his units. Okay, so what he did is he took his light industrial complex and placed it in Kiangsu. He also his four newly recruited Japanese infantry divisions. He placed them in Japan, along with two naval transports. That makes 3 transports that he has in Sea Zone number 6. Okay, and of course, let's not forget that he did invest in a weapons technology development. All right, so now let's do his income tracker. All right, this will be 2, right? He regains Kiangsi. That's 1. 3, let me see, 6. All right. Creature is 1, Opie, and Suyuan, right? All right, so if my math is correct, it should be 40 IPCs that he's up to. All right, so here we are. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, guys. 6, 7, 8, 9, 4. Yeah, so Japan should be at 40 IPCs, folks. All right, guys. I don't see anything else. Very interesting round. I mean, I turned for G.I. Joe and his Japanese Imperial Navy and Army. Let's see what happens. Next turn is actually the USA's turn, and soon afterwards, China. Let's see what I decide to do, because I am playing both for the United States and China. All right, so we have an interesting array of U.S. forces already off the coast of Hawaii, Sea Zone 26. Small task force off Queensland of a destroyer and submarine. And we have, other naval assets off the coast of California and another small task force in Sea Zone 11. All right, guys, it definitely was an interesting video. Turn for G.I. Joe. I know it was a little bit complicated. Wasn't an easy turn for him. But, hey, he did all right, I guess. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed this episode, and I hope that you stick around. Well, not stick around, but hopefully you enjoyed this episode, okay? All right, guys, I have nothing else. Till next time, and don't forget to hunker down and play.